What's up? What's up, everybody? It's 2 o'clock Central Time, anyway. So either that's a good thing for you or a bad thing, because welcome to the new Monday. It's the punishment we get for having Labor Day or a holiday. So get started in a couple minutes here, guys. We'll get rolling. Welcome, as everyone kind of piles in. Very cool. Thank you. We can take a group vote if we want to promote David to a panelist. Throw it into the chat. Yes, no, maybe so. We got 5 no's so far. Just kidding. Just kidding, David.
Hello, nice of you to join us.
I think I was the one that promoted you.
I think I was 10 minutes before you decided to start the meeting.
It looked like you showed up as an attendee. Just saying.
Because you fix that and I'll fix it on my side. You
Yeah,
get me to join as a panelist, and I promise you, I will not wait for you to promote.
Yeah, no, that's cool. And this is a big part of sales, right? Always have the power. I'm kidding. What's up, guys? All right, cool. Give 1 more minute. We'll get rolling here. Starting right at the 2 o'clock. So 2 Central. Welcome, y'all. You're on the East Coast. Congrats on being 3. You're in Las Vegas. I hope you have a boat. That's all I got.
What do you got, flooding or?
Oh, yes. You didn't see? Oh, man. They got like 3 months worth of rain, basically, I think, in 1 weekend. Burning Man was this weekend. They closed the roads going out because they were completely impassable, except for, of course, the massive mud trucks that go in the desert.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I heard about the Burning Man thing, but I realized the city was underwater too.
Vegas is a mess. If there's roof leaks, they're right now, guys. So if you don't have 100,
get off of this training if you're in Vegas.
That's right. That's right.
And go get proposals.
Anything. Go sell. Yeah. All right, cool, guys. Welcome. Week 5. So we went through the 4 Ds, which is a huge part of this, right? So I'll ultimately take this a little bit backwards, guys, because we went through the 4 Ds, which we're going to run through that. The biggest part of this training is that you guys take something from it and actually do it in the field, right? Because it's one thing to be able to show up, and it's awesome to be able to see the individuals that continue to show up, because that means you guys are taking stuff out of this, and that's awesome. The one thing that I'll continue to be able to say is that if you were on Zoom, you guys are 1 step ahead because we have real-time communication. If you guys have questions, that's the best thing that can happen, because an inquisitive mind is a mind that's working, right? Because when you guys are trying to put this into your world, mine's different than yours, David's different than mine, so on and so on. We want to be able to make this an actionable item that you guys are going to come here, dedicate 60 minutes to sitting down to learning how to kind of make that shift from a commodity salesman into a trusted advisor. And as you make that shift, there's going to be a lot of bumps. I promise you that, because trying something new is difficult. But coming in, sitting down, listening to ultimately this process, right, that David and I have perfected over the years, you guys got to do it. You guys got to come to the table, right? Ask those questions. If you guys are using the 45 workspace, which is what I'm going to start with today, that's an awesome way to be able to have complete alignment with your customer. And that's really what we're trying to do. We're trying to create that clarity and confidence that I kind of drove home in this entire training, clarity and confidence for you as a sales rep, that you're clear, right? That the check boxes, 3 check boxes, right? Is the problem big enough to act? Do they actually need outside services? And then going deeper into that is, do you guys have a solution that is a perfect solution to what they're trying to solve, right? We talk about problem or a goal, and our job is to be able to get them there. So that's really what we're going to dive in today, is kind of wrapping this whole circle. We went through the 3 check boxes. Now the next action is on you guys to be able to start implementing this, start using this. And we'll talk about the different ways that you guys can implement this. So the first thing is start with the end in mind. And that's why I'm going to bring up this workspace. We talked about this at the end of last week as we start bringing everything together. This is ultimately how you position yourself as an expert in solving your customer's problem, or an expert inside helping your customer get to their goal. And I think I've said this inside some of the earlier trainings that we have, is that there's really 4 ways to be able to sell. Number one is the client has a problem. That's a beautiful thing because they're already aware that their atmosphere is not what they want it to be, right? And they're asking someone outside of the business for help. That's great. It's a great, great starting point. Number 2 is they have a goal, which means they have this vision of where they want to be, but they don't know how to get there, right? Problem is like, oh man, I got a roof leak right here. My goal is I want this place to be leak-free for the next 10 years because I retire in 10 years. Both true goals that I've dealt with customers. The other way is education. So when you sit down with someone, they don't have a problem, they don't have a goal, you can always educate them on what's going on. It's a great way to be able to start building a relationship, but it always doesn't come with an immediate opportunity to do business. And the fourth one is fear. And fear is a really, really sketchy one to get into. We've probably all been inside those high pressure, if you don't do this right now, you're going to miss out, kind of fear-based sales tactics. I'm going to recommend you don't be inside that world, right? Education is relationship building. And then when you get to the point to where people sit down with you, right, and they know they have a problem that they want to change, right, an atmosphere that they want to change or a goal for where they want to get, that's when you can truly have the most impact in becoming that trusted advisor. So I'm going to spend a few minutes on the front side, David. I know it's a little bit of a shift for what we normally do, but I'd like to spend some time on the workspace, guys, because we normally spend all the time talking about the process, right, to be able to get to this point. Let's flip this. Let's start with the end in mind. Let's start with what we're trying to achieve, which is ultimately a solution that cannot be compared, right? That cannot be commoditized, that cannot be printed out, put on a desk, and then ultimately chosen based upon the price or the scope of work that most of the time the clients don't even understand, or they have to ask a third party to be able to look at it, right? That's how a consultant gets involved. They're like, I have all these options, I have no idea what to do. Let's step inside the trusted advisor side to where we're actually going to help the client solve their problem or get to the goal that they need to be. So what I want to start with is this page right here. This page is unique to your customer. So what you're giving them, think about, if you guys remember inside some of the past trainings that we've done, specifically inside this series, you have a proposal that can be emailed, or you have a proposal that can be dropped off in person. Those are the 2 primary ways to be able to deliver a proposal. And the problem that I have with a proposal is that it has a bunch of roofing jargon on it that has absolutely nothing to do with your sales process, because your sales process is about, okay, talk to me about what's going on. What have you tried? We've done all this great discovery, regardless if you're using the 4D process or not. You do all of these personal things of why they're buying it, but then you deliver a proposal that has nothing but a roofing scope and has 0 ties into what your entire sales process is about, right? Which is giving them peace of mind, confidence that you guys are going to be the right contractor, right individual, right choice to be able to solve their problems. So what we're doing here is we're giving them a unique workspace that is specific to them. All of the questions that we ask and that we're going to kind of recap today, we put into a problem canvas. Okay. And this problem canvas basically summarizes the entire conversation that you have. This is a huge, huge part inside sales that we miss this. Because when we sit down with the customer and the first conversation that I have, right, David's the customer, he and I are going back and forth and we're having this great conversation. And then 3 weeks later, I come back with this proposal that is absolutely beautiful and aligned to what David and I talked about 3 weeks ago. David, what happens?
I don't remember what we talked about.
So it was a great conversation to me. David was just answering the questions that we had. Not to mention, David's also spoke to 3 other contractors because he is getting other bids. He's not looking for, he's got to get 3 bids for whatever situation business requires it, or he's just looking for someone who can best help him. So if you don't have a way to be able to bring all of those things back to the surface, we've talked about alignment with your customer. This is where you do it. So when you have that initial conversation, it's so important not to just have a conversation of top of mind. And we talk about success as a process, right? Success is being able to repeat actions and come out with the same result. And that's why we give you the specific questions to be able to ask. That's why we give you guys the 3 check boxes to be able to check. So as we start getting that information, we can actually put it into a workspace that allows you guys to be able to reiterate it to the customer and make sure that they have alignment with what they said, right, to where they're trying to go. So if you look at this one, this example, what's the objective, right? That question is when people sit down with me, they typically have a problem or a goal they're trying to solve. Which is it for you? Client answered, hospital's been neglecting roof leaks for over 2 years due to COVID precautions, and they need to get the building back up to a leak-free condition. Is that still right, David? Is that still the objective that we're trying to achieve here? And I can go through each one of these questions that we ask, and I can make sure that as of 3 weeks ago, absolutely nothing has changed to today. And I'm going to bring up something painful because it's painful to me specifically. Anybody ever bid a project to lose the project to a completely different scope of work, or to be able to lose the project to a price that's 50% of yours? I'm talking a massive difference. It happens to all of us. And it's because we're delivering a proposal based upon a conversation that is obsolete. And when I say obsolete, it means something has changed, right? All of a sudden, you were trying to sell a new 60 mil TPO roof, this beautiful Cadillac of a system. Someone came in and said, you know what? Why don't we just use some type of liquid membrane on this? It'll save you 50%. And now you have apples and oranges from what you thought was happening when you first showed up to when you had came back and delivered the proposal. So if you don't have a way to be able to stay aligned or realign yourself with the customer, those types of variables are going to become all too common when it comes to delivering a solution to your customer. So we look at each one of these. Objective, okay, who's responsible for this, right? Current reality, well, no actions have been taken due to the COVID precautions. They've inspected the site and delivered a roof report. Right? Is that still where you're currently at? Our roof report's the last thing you did, right, David?
Yep.
It allows you guys to be able to get back into the conversation and have that absolute clarity that you guys are still aligned to what you showed up to. This is a massive part of it, guys. So we talked about the revenue reapers and all that kind of different stuff. This ties directly back into that. If you guys are not looking and realigning yourself, it's going to make it really hard to be able to be of value if something changes. Now, the next part that we have down here is priority level and ability level. If you guys remember, inside each one of those steps, we had 2 questions that were insanely important. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is this project to you? And we asked that question to be able to get ultimately a priority level, right? If it's a 7, it allows us to be able to open the question up and say, okay, well, what's an 8, 9, or 10? And see if there are different projects in front of us, or see where the roof comes in within priority. Again, if you guys, I'm going to bring this into reality. Have you guys ever bid a project to a customer who's like, I need it now, I need it. And then 1 month later, they haven't awarded it yet? That's what this question is, right? How important is this problem? How important is it to you guys to fix it? If it's a 10, that's amazing. So there's nothing more important right now than fixing this issue. If it's a 7, it allows you guys to be able to go deeper. So again, what I'm doing in this workspace is confirming that. So David, I know you said this was a high priority, something that you really need to get taken care of quick. Is that still accurate?
Yep.
And I know before you said that you didn't have anybody here who could actually go up on the roof internally and make repairs. So you were truly looking for a contractor to come in, turnkey, get this building back up to a leak-free condition. Is that still right?
Yep.
These are all questions that we asked within the process, guys. So when we talked about going through each one of these stages, right, the 3 check boxes and the questions that we're asking, this allows us to be able to come back to the customer and not only present a solution to them, but also make sure that we're still aligned. Because what happens as we get down to the bottom of this, if something changed, do not pass go, do not collect $200, do not deliver a proposal if the rules have changed. That's a huge, huge part of this, guys. And I've talked about this inside some of the other trainings. I'll say it again. Once you deliver that proposal, okay, once you hand that over to the customer, whether it be digitally, email, in person, whatever it is, the customer now has control of the sale. Assume that you are never going to talk to them again. because they have the option to go silent. They have the option to award it to somebody else, or they have the option to do pretty much whatever they want because they have your proposal, they have your price, they have your scope of work. That is how they commoditize contractors. What you want to do when moving into that trusted advisor side is you guys want to be able to take them out of that environment and say, hey, we're different, right? And why are we different? Because we're not giving you a proposal to fix a problem. We're giving you a proposal to be able to get you to the goal that we talked about. And it comes up with that partnership. Any questions on this, guys? Throw it inside the chat. I know it's webinar style, but I want you, again, an inquisitive mind is good. You guys, and just tag it inside the chat. You guys see the value in going back into your presentation. I have a $500,000 re-roof or I have a $5,000 service ticket. Doesn't make a difference. The client is still spending money to change their reality. Tag it in there, guys. I want this to be interactive. Any questions that you guys have on this? Because everything that we're doing is to be able to get to the alignment checklist, which are the 3 questions that are going to ultimately lock the sale down. When we talk about being a trusted advisor, we talk about not being a commodity, it comes down to 3 questions. Now, you guys have the ability, okay, to put in a video. This is a video that I recorded here, and this video is something that I wanted my customer to see because the real cool thing about a workspace is it allows you guys to be able to take the URL that's up top, and I can share it with anybody, and he can share it with anybody. So now, instead of you selling the property manager who is going to give it to the board, and the board's going to internally discuss it, and now you have someone selling your solution, having a workspace allows you to be able to have, again, complete alignment, and no matter who is looking at it, knows exactly what's going on, and it gives you an opportunity to be able to speak to the individuals there. And that's what this video does. It gives you a way to be able to personalize your proposal. You're not just a piece of paper in a stack with a number on it. It allows you to be able to personalize it and truly explain what makes you different or better than every other contractor. So as I scroll down, this is, ultimately, this is the moneymaker, guys. We talked about checkbox 3. Checkbox 3 is, are you the best solution? So if you guys do not have independent presentations for each product you have, you are a generalist. Okay, and I'm sorry to say that and make it hurt, guys. I'm not sorry, but you're a generalist. If you come in and say, I'm the best roofer, we're the biggest roofer inside Sacramento, and we specialize inside roof replacements, new construction, liquid membranes, preventative maintenance and repairs, and leaks. What am I? It's very hard to position yourself that someone who specifically has leaks is going to award a proposal, right? Or award a problem, or I can say looking for a solution with somebody who does new construction. Those are 2 completely different worlds. I would never hire a new construction contractor to be able to come fix my leaks. And I can assume almost anybody else is in this room because we all live in that world. So you guys have to have independent presentations for each product that you have. That is what allows you to be able to zoom in, right, and hone in on how to be that expert. Now, the real cool thing about this, if you are on this and you are a people leader, okay, which means you have different sales reps that are making presentations. I promise you, inside every organization that I have been a part of, very, very, very few have had a consistent presentation that they train on. It's always been, here's the proposal, here you go deliver to the customer, let me know what they say. And they delivered it based upon how they feel, probably what they ate. If they feel energetic or they just had some massive China buffet, it's probably a completely different presentation. They do it based upon where they're at. Right? I've been in several meetings where I walk in, guy walks up to the front desk and just says, yeah, you got your proposal? You mind? Yeah, just let's talk about it right here. And you don't actually have a room to present in. That's commoditizing, guys. That's not giving you the time, all of the efforts, the questions, the solutions, the time that your company has put in to be able to craft the solution. Don't be shorthanded by having to present inside the lobby. You guys are worth more than that as a trusted advisor. You guys are worth more than that. Now, if you're delivering at the front desk, leaving it with the secretary, and then following up a day later, be prepared to be commoditized. Be prepared to not get a phone call back, or be prepared to get a phone call that says, hey, we went with somebody else, because it doesn't allow you guys to really be able to differentiate yourself when it comes to looking at what your company does great and what allows you to be the best solution that they have. So the one that we're going to go through today, and David, I'm gonna, if you have anything you want to add inside, the one that we're going to go through real quickly today is specifically on roof leaks. Anything you want to add before we jump into this, David?
I think that, the thing that we're really just trying to communicate here, guys, is if we try to use analogies to really get this new frame and this new era of sales clear for you guys. This is about playing chess, not checkers. We hear it all the time, but that's literally what this is. While every other one of your competitors is doing the lame stuff that they've always done, you're coming in with a presentation that's much more sophisticated. But the key is that this is not complicated. This is checkmate in 3 moves. And guess what? Your buyers want you to win, because if they win, or if you win, they win if you do it this way. And I think the biggest thing about this, guys, is when you leverage this workspace, if you can get clarity, like Chad was saying, if you can get clarity that they have passed each one of the checkpoints that we talked about, checkpoint 1, checkpoint 2, then you're teed up for checkpoint 3 here. And you'll know if you crush it if you go through and do the alignment checklist. But if you're clear on that and you use this to make sure you're aligned, like Chad said multiple times, you crushed it, they need it, and both of you guys are aligned on the information, then you guys are going to win so many more deals. Assumptions kill all of us as salespeople. We want to believe things are better than they are. Our eternal optimism is a part of what makes us able to be in this role, if we're all being quite honest. But that eternal optimism crushes us when we make poor assumptions about what prospects are actually saying and what their actual intention is. So if you guys use this process, this will be the backbone. This will raise the floor, as Chad always says, on what the minimum level of quality in terms of a buyer experience that you're creating for everybody that talks to you. And not only are you going to close more deals, but they're going to be talking about you to other people. You'll be getting more referrals. You'll get more repeat business. This is really a key to unlock a whole new world of revenue and sales within your book of business. So we can't encourage it enough. If you guys have questions about, does this work, guys? We've collectively been doing this for 30 years. Chad and I, we can reform a service department in our sleep. And that's not bragging. We are terrible. At least I am. I'm terrible at a lot of things. I just happen to be good at this. My wife will tell you I'm terrible at many, many things. I'm stupid in a lot of ways. But we know that this crap works. We've devised this over the course of decades, guys. So if you have questions about it, if it's not clicking, ask. We will connect those dots for you. There's not a question that you guys can ask that we have not heard by the hundreds of reps that we've managed over the course of the last 15 years individually and 30 years collectively. That's all I got.
No, so that's perfect. And he brings up a really good point. So I'm not telling you guys to only sell one product, but what I am telling you is that you guys need to have independent presentations based upon the products, plural, that you have, right? So if you're going in and it's about roof leaks, you need to have a presentation that makes you an absolute expert when it comes to roof leaks. So if you have one about preventative maintenance, if you have one specifically to liquid membrane, you guys need to position yourself as an expert inside each one of those, because it will allow you to be able to be far more valuable, right? Cost is what you pay, value is what you get when it comes to your client making a decision, right? Do they want to go to a general practitioner to be able to figure out what's going on with their knee, or do they want to go to a specialist? You got your choice. Where do you want to go? You're going to go to the specialist because this is what they do. They said they fixed X amount, and we'll jump through this for today. But this is what I'm telling you. You have to have an individual presentation that makes you an expert specifically in what your client is trying to solve. It's the easiest way that I can put it. And there's a million different ways to be able to make it happen. But I'm telling you, that's how you change your close ratio. That's how you sell more jobs and get your clients to be more confident in you, is that you position yourself as an expert. And it's all what you guys do. It's all on how you guys present it. Right? So think about that. How many presentations do you guys have? Are you an expert inside each one of those? And if not, I'm going to recommend that you guys go to the drawing table as quickly as possible and figure out what's your secret sauce for each part of the business that you have. So this presentation is one that we made up. There is a very specific methodology that goes into it, and it allows you guys to be able to present identical. You remember I said almost nobody has a presentation that they train on. This allows you guys to be able to ultimately perfect and tweak your presentation. We talked about raising the floor, right? David said it. This is how you get all of your sales reps presenting a unique way, right? And when I say unique, I mean consistent, right? It's your guys' secret sauce. It's your guys' formula of what is making you guys better inside the market. So what do? We promise to fix your roof leak so you can focus on what matters, right? This is a leak presentation. This is what we do. We fix leaks. You focus on what matters. Let us do what we do best. Now, jumping down, why do we exist? Because too many facility managers tolerate roof leaks. Construction is one of the worst in customer experience, and the roof is one of the primary assets for security. I'm saying this because this is going to bring connection, right, between what your customer needs and what you guys do. We exist because of the exact reason that we're sitting down right here. It allows you to be able to get that emotional connection to it. What does success look like, right? When customers work with us, they always see fewer leaks and fewer disruptions. They have budgets that actually work, and they get peace of mind through control of the budget. This is what it looks like. And this is your success story, right? What's it look like? If you were to award the work to me, if you were to write that contract right now, what is your future going to look like? Well, I can tell you what it looks like for the rest of our customers. So it allows you guys to be able to go into that, and you're answering questions, right, that they're going to be thinking inside their head. And when I talk about perfecting it, we'll get to the bottom and I'll show you what that looks like. This is what success looks like. Okay, why are you going to choose us? Because we have a proven track record of success. Over 1,800 roof leaks stopped, 99.5%, 0.56% fixed the first time, 72% of leaks fixed within 72 hours. This is just my social proof, guys, right? Well, I'm going to tell you I'm the best roofer in Dallas, right? Or whatever it is. What's that mean? Everybody says that. So what is my social proof? Well, the social proof is we fixed over 1,800 leaks. My social proof is that 99.56% of the time we got it right the first time. Now I'm giving them true measurable numbers that we don't just say we're the best inside this metro. I can show you why we are the best in this metro. So again, now we're gaining that confidence, that trust. We talked about the revenue reapers, right? And that might be something we should go into probably next week to revisit that, because that's what we're doing right here, right? So what makes us so great? Make it simple. Make it easy to understand. We shouldn't make your customers work to understand what you do, right? We have a very simple methodology. We fix it fast, we fix it right, and we fix it for life. And they go, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then you go down and you explain it. We fix it fast. That means 24/7, day and night. We got crews throughout the Metroplex, and our trucks are fully equipped, which means whatever, wherever you give me a leak, we're able to fix it, and we're able to fix it fast. Does that make sense? Boom. You've now taken that out, and now you've given ultimately social proof number one. Number two, fix it right. Well, how do we know we fix it right? Well, first off, we exceed the national and manufacturer standards. We're certified, right? Through our partners, and also the technicians are certified, so you can trust what's going on up there. It's not just someone we hired off the street yesterday. And ultimately, we inspect what we expect. We do post-job walkthroughs. Notice, guys, everything that I'm reading off right here are already the words that are on this sheet. You don't have to think. This also allows you to be able to have structure. We talked about consistency. David, if I was presenting to David, he could ask a question right now, and we can go on whatever rabbit hole we want. Not that I want to, but I come right back to where I was, right? Ever been inside a conversation? What were we talking about? That's lack of consistency. So when you have an opportunity to present something like this, it allows you to be able to jump right back in, right? Finally, we fix it for life. I know that sounds crazy. We pinpoint the problem. We water test the repair after we're done. And if we do that, we give a lifetime certification that that leak's never going to come back, right? That's the nail in the coffin. That's the do you trust us kind of side, right? This is how confident we are that we're going to fix it. We're going to fix it right, and we're going to fix it for life. That's the methodology behind what we have. Now, I know we've already done a couple of these, but I do want to talk about what the future looks like, right? So I talked about what the future of our customers look like. Now let's talk about what the future of our relationship specifically looks like. We've already inspected the roof. We have a summary of the findings that we're going to go over today. My goal is to be able to review the options versus the goals that you guys have, put it on the schedule to be able to start reducing the disruption as quickly as possible. And then finally, we both have the end goal that we want to stop these issues forever, right? This is consistent. This is the same process that happens every single time. And it allows your customer to start shaking their head. Yes. Yep. That's right. Yep. I'm with you. And now your customer is on this journey with you. I hope you guys are seeing the difference in presenting like this versus giving a proposal and saying, okay, you see, we're going to tear the roof off to the deck. We're going to do a 60 mil TPO. That has nothing to do with what your customer is buying. That might be what you're doing, but it's not why your customer is buying. We give a short summary, right? We see past the leak. We're best in class. We're certified, and we fix the call or we fix the leak the first time that we're out there. So I give a short summary of what's going on, and then we can jump right down, right? This is just a tagline, fix forever. We guarantee the results, and it comes into 3 check boxes, guys. This is ultimately all of the work that we did. This is what it comes down to. And there needs to be absolute clarity and confidence in these answers. If there's not, go back to the drawing board. Don't deliver the proposal. Because again, once you deliver a proposal, out, it's gone. Customer can do whatever they want to do, and the 5 reapers are going to come play their part inside all of this. So question number 1, are we still aligned to the actual problems causing the current pain? Are you guys clear on how we solve these problems, right? So what's the actual problem specifically inside this one? They haven't done anything in years because of all the different things that are going on. Are we still clear on that? Is that still the same picture that we're painting right now? And then are you guys clear on how we solve that problem? This should have been done in the presentation, right? Fix it right, fix it fast, fix it for life. You guys clear on how we solve these problems? I've explained it to you, right? This is where you need that clarity and that confidence to say, yep, no, I completely understand what's going on. If not, they say, I think so. Just say, okay, what is it that wasn't completely clear to you? And we go back into the presentation. We're actually spending time in this, right? Because we don't just want to deliver a proposal. We just don't want to mark it as quoted so it looks like we quoted something. You guys have spent the time, met with the customer, walked the roof, use your estimator's time to be able to develop this proposal. Let's get it right, and let's get it right the first time. Okay? So number 1, still aligned on the actual problems causing the pain. And are you clear on how we solve these problems? Yes, you are. Awesome. Click the box. Automatically turns orange. 1 of 3. You're good to go. Number 2, are we still aligned to the expected outcomes if these problems are solved? Expected outcomes. Right now we're talking about return on investment. Is the outcome enough for them to be able to move forward, right? Which is part of the questions that we went through. We're reconfirming what's going on, right? So are we still aligned with the expected outcomes if these problems were to be solved? Is the expected ROI, return on investment, sufficient? Right? Are we still aligned to all of that? Is the return on investment still worth investing the money to be able to fix the problems? Yeah, no, we're still there. We know we got to do it. And the last question, are we the right solution to solve the current problems and create the desired outcomes? That's so key, guys. So key. So are we the right solution to solve your problems? So everything that I've explained to you today in our presentation, do you feel that that is the right solution to be able to solve your problems? That's part 1. Now, what I just literally spent the last 15 minutes explaining why you guys need a unique presentation for each solution or each product that you guys offer. Because if you put the right solution in place, this question answers itself, right? Are we the right solution to solve it? Yeah, you guys seem like experts in this. Okay, awesome. Do you feel that we can create the desired outcomes that we spoke about? Desired outcomes, you guys, we already went through this, right? Because scrolling up on this allows us to be able to say, right, here's the outcome, right? What's the return on investment here? Reducing the leaks will allow the surgery rooms to be open without the health risk of leaks from the asphalt system above. It also allow the maintenance team to be able to service the roof in a proactive manner. Da, 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 da. Do you feel that we can get you guys there? Yeah, I'm pretty confident in that. If you get 3 check boxes, guys, that is when you have complete alignment with your customer on you being an expert, right, inside what you're doing. making sure that they understand that they need to take care of this. This is a high priority, right? And that the return on investment is logical, and that they actually need, right? They actually need an outside resource to be able to do it. We've checked the 3 check boxes, and we've went through the alignment checklist to make sure that we have that complete alignment, that we're going to the same place as the customer. Only when those 3 check boxes are checked can we actually scroll down. And again, we can, and I won't say again, we can control this. So if you don't want this to show right here, we can choose when this does and does not show. Now, all I have to do is click on this, and the proposal that you guys would typically create will show up right here. This will allow you to be able to tag in any type of PDF or wherever your proposals are coming from. This is like a 90-page report, right? This is almost $100,000 worth of repairs. We were able to go through all of this, get those alignment put inside place, those 3 check boxes, and then release the proposal to them. Again, the coolest part about this is this did go to a hospital. This did go to a board where they actually shared this link among everybody in the board. And just as you guys saw me go through this, it doesn't matter if I read it, if the customer reads it, if somebody else reads it, there's nothing unique, or I'll say overly skilled, that requires you to be able to understand this slide right here. Anything you want to add, David?
I just think on the closing process, guys, the entire process leads up to that decision. And when I was selling, Chad had a part of his career where he went through this as well. We all do it. There's nothing worse than leaving a sales interaction not knowing what's going to happen. And when I'm going through and asking those questions, because again, we use this very process every day within our own sales interactions. We're asking these last 3 questions on the alignment checklist. We're wanting any misalignment to surface. We're not scared of it. Just like Chad said, any hesitation, any pause. Good, great. What are you not clear on? Let's talk about it now. I don't want you to leave here with us being misaligned on what's going to be happening next. I want to know. And then I can confront it where necessary if it's in their best interest not to go down that path. Or I can clear up any confusion. And especially on question 3, guys, that direct question gets maybes out. You're either going to get it to a hell yes, a no, or a yes, but. Okay. A yes, but what? What has to happen? What is next? You're good, but something else needs to happen. Now, if you're not good and it's a no, that's fine. If you're not good, but it's a maybe, that's not okay. But get your deals out of maybes. Have full control over what's going on in your pipeline, guys. And especially when you talk to your leaders, this information is just impressive. Here's where my pipeline is. Boom, 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 boom. This deal, they're here, they're doing this, they're a yes, they have to confirm this, they have to do this, and they're going to close by X date. That's when this is going to happen. We're going to be talking on that day. You have complete control over your pipeline, over the situation, and over the revenue that you control for the company, which, being a good steward of our companies, we need to be doing. So the intricacies of this, guys, again, this has been developed over the course of years, especially the last 2.5 years using the software. The intricacies of this design are very intentional. So again, if you guys have questions, like we continue to harp on, if you have questions about how does this work? Why would it work in this situation? I don't see it working because of this. Can you give me clarity? Ask them. We want to help you guys. And anything that is going on in the back of your mind that's selling you on why this somehow isn't going to work for whatever reason and why you don't need to commit your time and execute to this, bring those questions up so we can remove that, if it is the case, so that you guys can improve and ultimately just continue to get better results month over month.
Yep, absolutely. So I'll just drop this in there real quick. If anybody in here has people underneath them, having a alignment on how you ask questions is such a beautiful thing when it comes to understanding, right? Because as a sales rep, the one thing that I'll say that sucks is, like, you can never communicate like what actually happened in the meeting. Like when David asked me questions, he's like, "Oh, well, did this happen?" I was like, "Yeah, no, he said this," and I instantly start summarizing what was said. and it just becomes ultimately muddy, right? But if you have exact questions that you're asking, right, it was like, hey, people sit down with me, they normally have a problem or a goal they're trying to achieve. Which is it for you, right? I always throw a joke inside there. It's like, congratulations, you're meeting with the roofer this morning. Was that on your bucket list? Right, but like, really, what's happening? And when you ask that specific question every time, and then you're working and helping your sales reps, right? Say, okay, so what did he say? Was it a problem or a goal? How did he present it to you? And you can come back answering that with confidence. Again, talk about clarity and confidence. It's still there, right? Of like, he told me he actually had a problem when we first started. But then by the time he's explained, it was really kind of more of a goal. You can get that clarity of what's going on, and it helps you so much actually be an asset to your sales reps, rather than being I wouldn't say nuisance. That's not good, but we've all been there, right? Where we're trying to explain what happened in the meeting, and it's hard. So a lot of cool things that go down with all of that. All right, so we're 40 minutes in, guys. This is a massive, massive part. This is the takeaway, right? Because we talk about the whole script, all that kind of different stuff. None of that matters if what you're delivering is a proposal, which a bunch of roofing jargon to a property manager who knows absolutely nothing about roofing, right? And who's going to make a decision based upon the information they don't know. That sucks. You got to think about putting yourself inside that individual's position, right? They're forced to be able to make a decision that's best for this building, being that they're an expert inside nothing, right? And I say that really respectfully, because it could be HVA, windows, walls, paving, painting, carpet. I mean, every single day is something different. And it's your job as a roofing contractor to be the professional, right? That's going to come in, give them a proposal for what's going to help them meet their goal or solve their problem. That's really what it is. And when you're talking about the property management side, right, most of the time it's a tenant who's screaming, and all they want is that tenant to be happy. So now you have even a larger variable that you're making a third person happy. There's a lot that goes into it. If you're not asking the right questions, it makes it very difficult for you as a contractor to be successful, because at the end of the day, you start tearing that roof off, which might be what the owner wants, but who's yelling at you? The tenant who can't open his building because he has a wedding gown spot, place, and he's trying to have people try on wedding gowns, and you're tearing the roof off above him. Nobody wins, guys. So we got to have the right questions, the right way to be able to go into some of these situations and have clear understandings of what's happening. And that's what we do. So I'm going to make this less painful on you guys. So you guys know me. You guys know David. Welcome. If you're here, you're getting value from this. But the one thing that I want to say is that bad communication is so common within the sales industry. And I think Greg Wallach actually said it best. It was at a Best of Success conference. I'm going to butcher the story. But anyway, the story goes along the lines of that he felt that he won most of the jobs when starting his career simply because he never went away. He was the last man standing, right? Everybody gave up on the proposal and he was the last man standing. There's ways to be able to find that middle ground to where you guys have a good follow-up side. But David, you said it best, never step out of that meeting until you guys know what's happening. What's that next action? Because even if you run all of this, right, and you do not get the proposal signed that day, right? Hey, I got to pass it to the board. I got to submit it to purchasing or wherever it is. Know what your next step is, because that's truly what a partnership is connected to. All right. We're going to talk about the 4D the 4D sales process. So first off, discovery, diagnosis, demonstration, and we do all of this to be able to drive a decision. The 3 check boxes, you guys got the end game sitting right there, right? Those are the 3 questions that we want to ask that brings clarity and confidence that you guys are going to be able to help that customer get to the desired outcome. That's really what it drives down to. How we figure out that outcome, right? That's what makes us experts. We're in roofing, but as a sales rep, you guys are there to be able to really dismantle this problem, right? Because to your customer, most of the time, perception is reality. They see a roof leak. They don't know what's going up on that roof. They don't know it's an open seam or a blister or foot traffic that put a screw through the roof. No one knows that stuff. It's our job to be able to bridge the gap between what's reality happening on that roof and what's perception for what they have. So we do all 3 of this. We call it the 4D sales process because discovery, diagnosis, demonstration, leads all of that into a decision. David, you want to take us through the 3 checkpoints?
Yep. So like we said, guys, the critical checkpoints that buyers need to go through is first assessing, is this an urgent priority and do they need to take action against it? From there, if they do need to take action against it, it doesn't mean that they absolutely need outside help. They can go put a Band-Aid on it, slap some of their existing resources on it and get it just to go away for now. Internal resources or an existing vendor that doesn't quite get it there, but whatever, they'll get out here and they'll take care of it for now. And then if those things are true, then and only then does it matter. Does our solution matter? Do we have the right solution? Do we have the best solution for them to solve the problems causing them pain and keeping them from the outcomes that they want? And we want to go through and discover this information. And one of the things that we talk a lot about is the best salespeople. It always seems like they're getting the best leads. They're not getting the best leads, guys. I got accused of that when I was a rep. Oh, the manager's sending you the best leads. That's no. Give me all of your leads and I will increase and improve the quality of those, because I will unpack the information that they keep in the back of their minds and I will put it in front of them and I will cause them to take action more than you will. But go through and discover this information. If you do discover that they don't pass one of these checkpoints, you can disqualify them and move on with a clean pipe. And that is absolutely critical for you to have the urgency necessary for you to do the top of funnel work that you need to do to actually ensure that you've got the momentum in the pipeline to hit your goals every single month. An over bloated pipeline that's not realistic is one of the biggest things that gets in our way, because it creates all this gray fuzz and hope. And then we don't do the work necessary. And then we get behind and then we end up getting sideways for not only a month, but a quarter, guys, by the time we figure it out. It's just unnecessary.
I just think of the horror, it was a movie, right? I can't say stories because I was living it, right? I'd come into the book of business of my sales reps. I'd look at it and they would have something that was quoted inside April. It's September right now. And I'd be like, hey, what's up with this? I'm like, oh man, that guy was totally going to do it. I don't know. He just went blank on me and I haven't been able to get a hold of him. So what's that mean? Well, obviously leave it in quoted, right? Because we don't want to mark it dead. And then we just have this overly bloated, I mean, that's a great way to put it, right? Book of business. You might say, I got $5 million in my book of business. Well, how much did you sell this week? 0, right? So how good is that book of business if we can't accurately forecast? And when I talk about forecasting, it goes right back to what's the priority of this project, 1 through 10, right? 10 being, I need to get this done yesterday, 5 and below being like, my boss told me to get a bid and I don't care about it. That's real world, and figuring out real world is going to help you guys to be more accurate and successful inside your role. So we went through all of this. Now it's working. So we went through all of this simply to be able to say, we already have the questions outlined, guys. David and I have worked on perfecting this, right? To ultimately put it down to 3 checkpoints. And those 3 checkpoints consist of 3 to 4 questions per checkpoint. It's truly that simple. When we get it down to understanding what's going on, we're just going through 3 check boxes. Think of those 3 check boxes that have to be checked in order for you to move forward. Once you choose to move forward, guys, the big part to understand here is you are committing, okay? You're committing to delivering a solution to that customer that's going to be above and beyond better than what they have. Now, the 3 check boxes are here for a reason, right? Do they actually need to act? That's a big question that you guys need to figure out, because that's clarity for you and clarity for your customer. If they don't need to act, it's okay to disqualify them. It's okay not to bid the project. That's another way on how you increase your close ratio. It's not get more leads, bid more jobs, sell more. That is a very convoluted plan, right? What I want is better leads in my pipe, right? I want better leads that are going to close faster, that have a problem that actually needs to be solved. And that's what we do. So we talk about the perfect buyer's journey, right? So checkpoint 1, do they need to actually act? The idea behind this is to eliminate maybes. So do they know why they scheduled the meeting, right? It's the first thing that we want to figure out. What's going on? Did they just say yes to get the telemarketer off the phone so they would stop calling them? We've all been there, right? So figure that out. Figure out why you're sitting down with them. What's going on? Do you guys have a problem? You have a goal? Talk to me about what's going on. Who else is involved, right? Are you accountable and responsible, right, for making this decision? Are you accountable for getting the proposals and responsible for signing the check? If not, there's different people involved. Different people bring variables. So if you're presenting to the facility manager who has to give it to his VP, you're only presenting to 50%, probably less than 50%, because someone else is making a decision. Figure out who that is, because that could be the death of your proposal right there. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a situation where the maintenance manager cares about it and the facility manager does not, which means I waste all my time on this for something to go blank and go dead. Have they tried to solve this and failed? If you guys don't figure out what they've tried inside the past, there is a very good chance you can be bidding the same thing that the last contractor actually got awarded and didn't fix the situation, the problem. Figure out what's going on. Do some good research. What have you guys tried in the past? Why didn't it work? You know, how much you guys have you spent on trying to solve this issue? It's a good way to be able to go deep into the situation and see what they've tried and learn a little bit about their journey before you walked inside the door. And finally, are they clear on the worst possible outcomes if this is not solved? The worst possible outcome is larger, right, than what they see. We go deep into this, right? We probe into this. Just because there's a stained ceiling tile, that's not the worst possible outcome, right? Water gets on the floor. Who cares? Let your customer kind of figure this out. And we go through, and if you've been on part of the trainings that we've had before, we go deep. Figure out where it is. It's a slip fall hazard. It's lost consumables. It's additional time having to clean up carpet cleaners and everything else that come into it, repainting the walls. That's ultimately the worst case scenario, but let your customer paint that world, not you. Okay, perfect checkpoint or perfect buyer's journey checkpoint 2. Do they actually need new and outside help? Anybody ever bid a job for them to say, we're going to try it internally, or they don't ever call you back and you see that they've done it internally, right? So we align to the actual problems that are being solved. Well, if you remember checkpoint 1, we were talking about the larger issue that's going on. We're not going there just to fix a roof leak, right? We're going there to be able to prevent a slip fall hazard or lost materials or time, right? Additional labor that's got to be spent to all of this. That's our goal, because at the end of the day, the worst possible thing is what we're trying to prevent. We don't want to live in that world. We don't want our client to be able to have to live in that world. Are the expected outcomes enough to fund a solution? Right? So this is a real question. You can all of a sudden put together, they said they want a new roof, and all of a sudden you guys put together a $200,000 thing. They said, we don't have that kind of money. Are the expectations and the reality, are they aligned? Is the return on investment enough, right? Which we'll talk about in a second here, to be able to fund the solution. So do they have an adequate budget, right? Simple way to be able to do this. It's so hard sometimes for sales reps to be able to talk about money, because they feel like the customer is going to like clam up. But if you ask it the right way, you can actually ask it in a wholesome, true way to be able to say, when you guys have issues like this, do you have a budget that you typically work from? How can I help you build a budget so we don't have to live these situations again? And when you start doing that with not only confidence, but integrity, it allows you, again, to be able to better partner with that customer, right? Prospect, whoever he is, to be able to make sure that whatever solution you deliver fits his budget, right? And they do have, right, the correct budget to be able to make that happen. Number 3, gap in ability. Do they have internal resources? This is a simple question, right? Based on a scale of 1 through 10, what's your guys' ability to solve this with no one, no outside contractors? I can tell you the traditional manager is the guy that can go up there. He can take wet cement, right? Asphalt cement, go up there, square over the top, and that leak's going to stop. That's real. I've been in many situations where you have fasteners and sealants, right, that you're trying to sell to someone who probably spends more time on the roof than he does in his office. That's going to be a hard sale, guys. And understanding that up front will allow you guys to be able to focus your time where it's best going to be used, and it might not be in that situation. David, any input you have for these before we jump into the last checkbox?
I think the only thing that's running through my mind, guys, is that so we actually went through the process a couple of months ago. We got linked up with a tax strategist. Like, this guy's apparently one of the most brilliant people in Tennessee, Deloitte graduate, but essentially he comes through and has a complete overhaul and financial strategy for the business that saves just ridiculous amounts of money, right? He's one of the best out there. Pay our money, we start to go through the process. Guess what, guys? He has a process. How is he going to be the strategic advisor that I needed him to be? How is he going to come up with the critical solutions that I needed without a process? The best doctors in the world have a process. The best sales trainers have a process. The best consultants out there have a process that they take people through. You guys are delivering a valuable service. Remember how we talked about date versus doctor visit? This is not a date. You're not courting your clients. They're in pain. You're trying to help them. You're trying to help them. They need help. You're not courting them. You're trying to provide a valuable service to them. And if you would show up and just provide the valuable service, right? Remember buyer's intent? They want to solve the biggest problems causing them the most pain. We want to help them do that. If you would just change your frame, guys, and execute process, great process, instead of having these random rapport building conversations that don't freaking go anywhere and don't help anybody except for you thinking that you've courted them and gotten them on board. If you would just do this stuff, it will completely change your frame. And guys, practice. We don't practice during the game. We're not just telling you to go do this and magically going to change everything for you tomorrow on your next opportunity. You got to practice it and then get on with your opportunity and know what the hell you're doing. But this will absolutely change your sales career. 100%. The best people in the world have a process. This is not a script. This isn't some overbearing thing. This is a process to get you clear on a valuable plan of action for your prospects. If you just do the work, it'll get you the results.
A great point. When it comes to it, I can be as blunt as possible. I'm here to discover what's going on and find out if they qualify to be in my pipe. That's
right.
Really how I look at it, right? Is that I know my walkaway point. I know the value that I bring to the table. And if I instantly feel that I'm going to get shopped against other contractors and I don't have the best solution, right? Walk in there and all of a sudden they have a brick issue. They're going to do some through wall flashing and they want one contractor to do all of this. I was like, you know what? Not my game. I know where I belong, right? I know what I won't say perfect at, right? But I know where my strengths are, right? And that's what brings me into it.
The day that roofs stop leaking, guys, is the day that you have to worry about no's. Roofs are going to leak. Don't freaking worry about a no. There's more roofs out there that will be a yes, just move on. But deliver the valuable process like Chad said and get clear on it and just move forward.
All right, last one. We did this, guys, right? Do we have a proven history of solving the problems? You guys remember that in the presentation, right? Are they clear on how our solution solves their problem? Remember that? Remember the methodology, fix it fast, fix it right, fix it for life? The 3 check boxes at the end, and do our delivery methods and milestones work for them, right? Not every day when you sign a proposal today is a crew going to show up tomorrow. You got to make sure that all of that stuff's aligned. And that really goes with setting expectations. Because the last thing you want from a sales side is a pissed off customer that thinks that you lied to them because you're never going to get the job again. So setting those expectations up front to allow you to be able to be not only confident inside the sell, but also allow you to be able to under promise and over deliver. I'm sure you guys heard that. That's key inside having a great relationship, and it makes you look fabulous inside the way. So we did all this, right? We went through the best solution. We talked about having that unique presentation that's going to get you there. And that's what's going to push them to the decision side. We talked about the confirmation close. So we're going to go a little bit through that. The one thing that I'm going to leave you guys with is ultimately, how do you take this to the next level? If you're a sales rep, guys, I'm going to tell you your challenge, take this to market. We're giving you all of the tools to be able to go out there and ask the right questions, literally in 1 minute. And I'm going to tell you, go to your existing book of business and ask the questions to every client that is not bought, right? Do they check the boxes? It's okay to be able to go back in. We'll do halftime here in a couple of weeks where we talk about that. But if you want something more about it, this is where David and I have really been putting a lot of our, I'll say, mind power inside this. It's 2 different ways to be able to take this from a sales process, right, into a leadership evolution, really, right? How do you multiply sales reps? How do you get the most out of your sales team and become I'll say, ultimately an asset to your team, right? Versus someone who's managing numbers or ultimately not providing into the larger side. First one we call War Room. Think of that as an expert-led mastermind, guys. If you want to get in as a sales leader, right, and start working with other sales leaders throughout the United States and solving issues, right, in the pipe, it's going to tell you, how do we cultivate better? How do we quote better? How do we have better conversations? That's what this group solves. The second one is Rainmaker. If you're an owner and you're in that chasm between, and man, I want to hire someone, but I don't have the time or I don't have the money, and then I don't have the time to be able to invest. Welcome to Rainmaker, guys. This is where we're doing Monday morning sales meetings. We're doing Tuesday process, right? Which you guys are in right now, learning that process. And then we're even doing bi-weekly one-on-ones, specifically with your company to be able to, again, raise that floor. How do we get all the sales reps consistently presenting so we can all learn from each other and grow as one company? That's where David put it in and really put a lot of the technology behind this. And again, between he and I working in the commercial industry, you got a powerhouse, guys. We're giving back because that's what I'm here to do. And again, raise the floor of our community and our industry. Anything you want to close with, David?
Nope, you closed it perfectly.
Boom, go get it, guys. Use this in the field. That's the only way it becomes valuable to you. If you're a sales leader, you guys want to learn more, you know how to find me. Reach out, be happy to talk, guys, and have an awesome, awesome week. I'll see you next week. Later.
See you guys.